Good morning and welcome back to the Dogs and Dead Loves podcast. So this morning I have all the way from the United States, Andy Seguss from Canine Athletes. Good morning, or good evening, I should say.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be on your show. I've listened to a few of your episodes and I've really enjoyed them, and I think you're doing a great thing for the not only the people, but a lot of information that people are going to be learning from your podcast that can help their dogs, and that's really what I think you started this whole podcast. That was
Yeah.
the reason behind it.
Yes, look, thank you very much. And like I said, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here. I do really appreciate that. And yeah, I just on that, hoping to help spread the word around, not just performance dogs, but just dogs and health and wellness in general. So thank you very much. And but I was going to say, looks like it's freezing over there, man.
Oh man, it's brutal. I live in upstate New York,
Yep.
so I'm about an hour away from Niagara Falls, Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and the winters, man, they're brutal. We get hammered with lake effect snow and
Mm-hmm.
negative degrees. And it's long. It starts in like the end of October and it doesn't break. I mean, last year, the first week of May, I got snow up here, man. It
Wow.
was, it didn't stick, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's just long winters, man. We're dying for sun.
Yeah, yeah. Well, currently, here in Australia, we're in our summer, and I'm sitting here in a t-shirt and a pair of board shorts.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, no. Oh, mate, let's jump straight in. Can you
Okay.
give us a little bit of background about yourself, your dogs, how things sort of came to be, if that's cool.
Yeah. So, like I said, my name is Andy Seguss. I'm from upstate New York.
Mhm.
Growing up, I've always had dogs around the house, and my grandfather always had hunting dogs outside on the chain, and just I was always around animals. My dad had a racehorse, stuff like that. So animal husbandry was always just something that I just grew up with. It's come natural to me.
Yeah.
Um, and I enjoy the company of animals, a lot of times more so than people. And I think a lot of us can probably relate to that. Um, and if you fast forward, when I was 16, I got my first American Pit Bull Terrier,
Mhm.
and that kind of happened. I didn't know too much about the breed or anything, but talking to friends and stuff, and a friend lent me the Truth About the American Pit Bull Terrier book by Richard Stratton. Not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's very popular.
Yep.
I mean, man, that's the book that gets everybody hooked, right? If you're familiar with pit bulls, you read that book and you're like, this is the dog, I gotta have one.
Yeah.
And
Can you
I
still?
never owned another breed since,
Yep,
you know?
for sure. Some of those old school books are hard to get though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This was back. I mean, I know I look young, but man, I'm 40, I'm almost 43. So this was back 20, 30 years ago or whatever. Actually,
Yeah.
it was probably about 30 years ago, 28 years ago.
Mhm.
So they were a little easier to find. And now you got to go on eBay and overpay for them. They're not printed anymore. But yeah, so I got my first dog, and then man, it just snowballed. I was hooked. This is these dogs make me happy. And since that time, I've owned between 10 to 30 American Pit Bull Terriers until today. It's
Yep.
it's just so when it comes down to, when people say they know dogs, I mean, that's fine.
Mhm.
But man, I know dogs on a different level because I've had just so many, the
Yep.
quantity and managing them and getting to know them on an individual basis, every dog.
Yep.
So, there's some things that I might say that might offend some people. They might not understand it, but just know it's coming from my heart, and I live this. Like, this is not just me posting on social media. And
Mhm.
people that really know me, they know, like, this is my life. The dogs are my life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
from there, I kind of started getting a little bit of popularity through social media and starting to go to dog shows, the ADBA dog shows.
Mhm.
And my dogs performed well. It was easy for them. It was easy for me, the shows, and
Mhm.
I was asked to start judging. And after a couple years of showing, and I was two times my rookie season, I was the most requested judge. I was won Dog Man of the Year. My dog Lucho won champion of the number one ranked champion of champions in 2017. I mean, it's just been, it's just been a kind of a whirlwind type of. I never had these goals.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it's just I just love dogs. I want to raise them. I want to do
Yep.
stuff with them, right?
Yep.
And then it just got crazy with all the shows and people. My DMs are crazy, man. It's like every day and it's cool. I love it, but it's just it was never part of any like long-term goal or plan of mine. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
awesome, man. And I love how things sometimes just organically grow, and a
Yeah.
perfect example is yourself, but also, fuck, I started rolling out some podcasts, and all of a sudden people are saying, "Hey, can you interview this person?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." No,
That's how it works.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course I can, so I love how, yeah, just things just organically grow. And if you're passionate about it, and I know that you are, and it
Yeah.
comes through, and that's why obviously, look, I've got one of your collars, I got one of your t-shirts, from Canine Athletes maybe a year or two ago, and
Oh,
you know,
wow. Awesome.
yeah, and I've been following along, and I'm like, yeah, I really, wanted to, to talk to you, because your passion comes through, obviously, in your blog posts and things like that. So really, really awesome to, like I said, to have you. And, these are your opinions, and this is what works for you.
Yeah.
I always joke around about, who gives a fuck what other people think, um, at the end of the day, as you mentioned, this is you, and this is what you're passionate about, and this is what works for you.
That's it. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and
Mhm,
everybody, has their own opinions and
mhm,
different ways of doing things, and that's what makes us individuals. And there's to me, it's like, especially with dogs, it's a lot of people want to just say this is the way to do it.
mhm,
This is the way,
yeah,
and try to force the dogs into this way of doing things. And
mhm,
I think it's a lot better if you treat them as individuals and adapt to what they're good at, evaluate strengths and weaknesses
mhm,
and adapt accordingly,
mhm,
and I think things will be a lot more enjoyable. And you got to get that dog. Not all dogs are great at all things, right?
mhm,
So you got to put the dog in the right seat on the bus to succeed. You
yeah,
know what I mean? It just, to me, like, I have, for an example, is a dog that's just, he was a physical specimen, right? And he's here. Well, he was here on my yard, and he was a champion at the dog shows. But he just, for me, for what I'm looking for in my dogs, he was missing a little something.
yep,
Great dog, right?
yep,
I give him to a dog trainer, my friend who does Schutzen and IPO work up in Buffalo. And man, this dog she's in head over heels. The dog, his right seat on the bus wasn't here with me. It was
yep,
with her.
mhm,
And she's giving him everything he needs, and he's giving it back. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, look, I've done the same, before, and people come to me, and why did you move that dog on? Because it wasn't right for me, yeah. But
got it.
with him or her, he just crushing it, and it's like I said,
Yeah.
it's beautiful to see that, the dog forms a bond and just adapts, and just thrives with that particular person. But there's just little things that potentially you have seen, or just like you said, he's at the back of the bus, causing, throwing airplanes and,
Yeah. Yeah.
cause,
Yeah. You got it.
yeah,
And it's like if I didn't have 20 other dogs here,
hmm,
maybe he would be my all-star, right?
yep,
But I've got this bigger pool of selection too.
yep,
And when you're trying to get excellence, you need selection. It's very important. That's why, rugby teams and
mhm,
NFL teams, they have, they start out training camp with 80 players, and they dwindle it down to 50 or whatever, because you need that competition and that selection to get to the best,
yeah,
and that's why a lot of people complain, at the dog shows, because they love their dogs, man. They really love their dogs, and they're devastated when they don't win,
hmm,
but they've got two dogs and
yep,
they're house pets. And
yep,
what are the chances one of those two dogs are going to be the next champion of champions, the next
hmm,
number one ranked dog?
yep,
It's low percentage. You need
yep,
numbers. You know what I mean?
yep.
It's just, So it's hard. It's hard to watch people get really down and sad when they don't win, but it's like it's easier for me to win because I've got more selection. You know,
Mhm.
I can bring the dog that's probably, you know what I mean? I don't just
Mhm.
have two to pick from. I've got 20,
Yep.
30.
And that you get, for that person that's got the one or the two, they may be waiting 3 years for a pup, and for
Yeah.
instance, and they don't get their selection. They get the selection that you give them, or that particular
Oh,
person, if they're
yeah.
if they're lucky to get a pup at all.
That's a whole nother topic, man. And it's like, so when you're getting a pup from somebody, so you're trusting their decisions, their breeding decisions to start with,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Do they have the knowledge to breed, to mate two dogs together and get a high percentage of getting excellent dogs?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they do have it, but
Hmm.
guess what? They're probably gonna, if they're that, experienced, they're gonna be able to pick their pups probably better than, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
so you're gonna take the ones they don't want.
Yep.
It's like, that's why I don't sell dogs. I don't sell pups. I keep them all. I breed them, keep them.
Yep.
And then I've got, you know what I mean? And then I've got them,
Yep.
and it's hard enough to find good homes as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with the American Pit Bull Terriers.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
people do bad things.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Let's I suppose break it down. Let's talk about pit bull shows.
Sure.
Obviously you mentioned you've competed, you're a judge, but some of our listeners won't have been exposed to that. Can you just sort of break that down for us a little bit?
Yeah. So the the American Pit Bull Terrier dog shows are put on by the American Dog Breeders Association,
Hmm.
and they've been around since 1909, and they focus solely on American Pit Bull Terriers.
Hmm.
So, the conformation show itself is no different than AKC, UKC,
Hmm.
typical dog shows, conformation shows.
Hmm.
But the one difference that you'll see is that the judges don't disqualify dogs or, you know, negatively impact a dog for being dog aggressive inside of the show ring.
Hmm.
Because if you know the breed, it was originated, its original purpose was dog fighting, right? So these dogs it's in them to be naturally dog aggressive, and to hold that against these dogs, um, you know, it's just not fair. The dogs, it'd be like holding it against a beagle, that wants to chase rabbits. It's just who they are.
Yep.
Now, when you're in the ring, you have to be responsible and you have to make sure that your dogs are under control and that kind of thing. But as long as you keep safe distance and stuff like that, so that's pretty much the biggest thing that you'll notice. And people get confused when they see ADBA shows. Is like, oh my God, this is crazy. These dogs are barking at each other, and it's like, yeah, but these are pit bulls. They're not poodles.
Hmm.
So you just have to keep that in mind.
Yep.
But when you're in the ring, the judge is judging the dog based on, the number one criteria is, does the dog have type? Does this dog look like an American Pit Bull Terrier?
Hmm.
And then they're judging the dog's conformation. So, that's basic physiology. Like, how's the dog built? How's the dog, his structure? Is it athletic? There's a written standard that the
Hmm.
judges are judged by. They're not judged against each other per se. It's another thing
Hmm.
people think. This dog, they're all judged against. No, they're judged against the standard
Hmm.
and how closely they meet the ADVA standard.
Hmm.
So, you take the whole, good judges take the whole dog under consideration, and based on how he's built, his attitude, how he acts, is he confident? The pit bull should be confident.
Hmm.
They don't necessarily have to be going crazy and barking and, that kind of crazy stuff.
Yep.
But it is a dog show, and dogs that do that get a little bit more attention, they show off. But yeah, so it's just a confirmation show, and it's cool because it's something positive and legal to do with your dogs, especially this breed,
Hmm.
and social. You get to hang out with like-minded people, and it's a good time as long as you don't take it too seriously. A lot of people don't keep things in their proper perspective, and if they don't win, they lose their mind, and it's not what the shows are about. At least I don't think they should be about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny that a lot of for instance, the local laws. You talk about type and standard. A lot of local laws officers here couldn't differentiate, a pit bull.
Sure.
Probably pretty common around. Um,
Yeah.
so
Even in the United States and Canada, I mean, it's just tough because any dog that, they're just labeled pit bull,
yeah,
and it's half the time it's not even pit bull, and it's, but it gets the headlines, and
mhm,
it's, the
yeah,
breed's got such a bad reputation, and
yeah,
unfortunately, um, it's a difficult thing. The ADBA is doing their best to help, and
mhm,
we just got to just keep it in mind that we got to be responsible and always kind of showcase the dogs in their best light, and
mhm,
you know um, try to keep them out of the bad people's hands.
for sure. And what about on the performance side? The performance events that you got going. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
they just started, maybe 5 years ago or so, top dog events,
Hmm.
which basically is it's basically a competition with three events. It's treadmill race,
Hmm.
wall climb, and lure course.
Hmm.
So the dogs will compete against each other in those three events, and the scores are tallied up at the end, and the winners, the top three, are awarded ribbons. And actually, Lucho is a top dog too. He's I think the second grand champion to ever win, to be titled in top dog, which is pretty cool because to be honest, and especially in the United States, most of these dogs, the top conformation dogs,
Yep.
they're not doing sports.
Yeah. Okay.
They're just staying in the ring, man.
Mm.
The handlers, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's that the dogs can, it's like the sport people and the conformation people are kind of separated, at least in the US. In Europe, it's a lot different. In Europe, I mean, they're crazy. They do, if they're in the ring, they're in the sports too. They're big into their sports.
Yeah.
Um, but that's been one of the tough things in the US to get more conformation dogs into the sports.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if it's they don't want to train the dogs, or if it's
Mhm.
the dogs don't have the drive, or what. I'm not sure what it is, but
Yeah.
um, it's it's fun. I mean, it's a lot more. The sports are a lot more fun than conformation. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's right. And that was going to lead me into, that obviously, that's our, my passion in regards to, sports and performance, and getting the dogs prepped, and as you probably mentioned, herds, slap milled, drag work, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd love to, I sort of sidetrack a little bit, and have a chat about that sort of stuff, if that's all right.
Yeah.
You doing a bit of prep, or for, let's just say, even just your philosophies on it, mate.
Yeah. So I guess the first thing you have to think about is, what is your goal, right? So what are you training for? What are you trying to achieve,
Yep.
at the end? Um, for for me, I'm just looking for overall physical fitness most of the time.
Hmm.
And when the dog's in the show ring, you want them to be at their lowest weight without losing strength and endurance.
Hmm.
So you know, really, the way I start is I feel like a mistake most people make is that they start too late. They
Hmm.
don't give themselves enough time to really get into good shape,
Sure.
And I think it happens with humans too. No one has patience, right? They want results overnight, and I mean, it just doesn't happen that way.
That's right.
So I start about 12 weeks out, and the first 2 weeks are nothing. We just hand walk.
Hmm.
It might just be 20 minutes of hand walking. That's it.
Yep.
Getting them used to, it's getting the dog used to the routine. It's getting yourself used to the routine too. You
Yep.
can't forget about yourself, and I just, you got to figure out what works for you. Like, I could give you step-by-step directions,
Hmm.
but if it doesn't work for you and your schedule, and you can't be consistent with it,
Hmm.
it's not going to work. So
Hmm.
there's got to be a little give to where, like, it works with your schedule, because we all got stuff going on. We got jobs, so for me, what I found works the best is working my dogs 5 days a week, and then giving myself and the dogs the weekend off.
Hmm.
If it was a perfect world, I would probably do 3 days on, 1 day off,
Yep.
but then it screws up my weekends, and so I don't do, I just stick with that. But
Mhm.
and then it's just finding out what the dog likes to do. So if the dog likes to run sprints, we run sprints. If the dog likes to run the mill, flirt pole is probably my favorite exercise, and
Yep.
most of my dogs love the flirt pole, and I get them used to it as pups,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
um it's really about just because anything will work, man. Simple things like throwing the ball and running sprints, it's
Mhm.
great. The heart rate up. But it really comes down to the dog. Like
Yep.
um I drag some chains, I drag some
Mhm.
weight sometimes, but I don't do a lot of it.
Yep.
My dogs really aren't into it, and I'm not really ever trying to get my dog's bulky muscles where I'm trying to like compete in weight pull or anything.
Yep.
I've never done that.
Yep.
So like we'll do it if I get, but most of the time I don't really do too much dragging,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
a lot of people do.
Yep.
um, I just personally don't. I
Mhm.
focus more on speed and agility, and like
Mhm.
they're still strong. The dogs are still strong, but from other methods, whether it be
Yep.
just simply hand walking and puts the strength into them because they're always pulling.
Yeah. Yeah.
My dogs are always pulling. If you really want to get crazy, you get somebody to walk out in front of you about 50 yards with another dog, and they, and then they're really dry, you're really pulling. Um,
Yeah.
so that's
And
pretty much how I do it. And then,
yeah.
as you wind down to the end of towards, whenever your competition date is that
Yep.
last week, you just gotta kind of like, you know how it goes with working out, you
Mhm.
taper back and you want to be fresh for the show day, So
Yep.
I taper back to work. And then when it comes time for the show, they're fresh and they're full of energy. Their eyes are bright. They're just ready to go.
Yeah, awesome. And would you? I know you will agree, but because you've got a blog on it, but a
Oh,
lot of foundations are around nutrition. Yeah,
nutrition's key. It's critical
yeah, yeah.
for
Can
humans too.
for sure, exactly.
Yeah.
You can run. You know, let's just say a human. You can run, or you can go to the to CrossFit or the gym. 5 days a week. But dude, if you're still putting fucking cheeseburgers or Big Macs in your mouth, you're definitely not losing those pounds.
No, and you can get away with that stuff when you're young. A lot easier than you can when you're older, right?
For sure.
So, and the same concepts apply to the dog. That's why I don't understand. I mean, these
Hmm.
and I trust me, man, I've done both. I've fed kibble, I've fed raw. there's
Hmm.
there's good kibble out there, and if
Hmm.
you choose to feed kibble, that's great. Like, I'm not hating on it,
Hmm.
but don't try to tell me it's better than feeding the balanced, species appropriate raw diet, because it
Hmm.
just isn't.
Hmm.
It's just science, man.
Yep.
And I've done both. Like, I've
Hmm.
literally done both. I can see the difference, and where you really see it is the longevity of the dog. Like,
Yep.
my dog Lucho just won the champion cup in the fall. He's 9 years old, man. That stuff doesn't happen.
Hmm.
He won top dog at 9 years old. Like, come on. Like, it's
Yep.
because they don't age like a kibble fed dog.
Hmm.
And with humans, if you're eating crappy, you age faster. You can get away with eating that bad food,
Hmm.
having that bad nutrition when you're young. And people will tell you, yeah, yeah, but my dog eats kibble and he's this, that, and he won this, that. Okay, great, that's fine. Like, Muhammad Ali could eat McDonald's and he's still gonna be Muhammad Ali, right? But as he got older, you know what I mean? Like, it's a longevity thing, and genetics do play a part in it.
Hmm.
But if you want to do your best, I really feel a raw fed dog is healthier.
Hmm.
It's just simply, I mean, I've seen it. It's the single best thing I've ever done for my dogs. And that happened I think it was about 2008, 2009 when I started feeding raw.
Yeah.
And,
And was that like a light bulb moment? What do you feel like happened there? Like, there's got to be something better, or my dogs can, do better. What would give you, what
yeah,
were you thinking? You know?
what it was is,
Yeah.
honestly, is, because I have a yard full of dogs. I got quite a few dogs, and I was buying pallets of dog food at the time, kibble,
Hmm.
and just because I could buy it in bulk and I'd have it. And the problem is, I had two dogs die and one almost died. And
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
like, what? And it was like out of the blue. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Mm,
And one dog was at my mom's house, but it was eating the same food. And that's how I was like, it's the only logical explanation because that dog wasn't even at my house. Like, how did that dog die too?
mhm.
Um, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Diamond Dog Food, but they have a lot of recalls. It's a U.S. They
Yep.
probably aren't in
No, I'm not familiar
Australia,
with.
but
Yep.
they yeah. So man, after that, I said, because I've always heard about raw, but it's hard when you're used to doing something, right?
Yep.
It's hard to change. And I was always a little bit nervous about it. Maybe I'm not going to do it right. And you hear people talk about it's got to be balanced, this, that. So then I'm thinking, and I'm just like, well, when I eat every day, I just kind of eat.
Mhm,
Like I don't worry about if what I'm eating is perfectly balanced, right?
mhm, mhm.
So like as long as I'm feeding my dogs a nice mixture of food, I'm just like, I'm gonna try it because at least I know this dog is eating this piece of chicken. Like this is real chicken. I know that. I don't know
Yeah.
what that little kibble thing. I don't know what's in that kibble thing. I'm trusting these people that are making money off of me, and so I just started, man, and then wow, I'm like, wow, what a difference. And
Yep.
like I said, it's not that hard.
Mhm,
It takes a little bit more time on the front end, but you save it on the back end with cleaning up and vet bills and that sort of thing.
mhm.
It's been amazing, man. It really has. And I urge everyone to at least consider it.
Yep.
Just consider it.
Mhm. And I've, in a previous podcast, we said, had an interview with someone else, even just start, adding just a smidgen, like a small portion and build from there. You don't have to, get, go, go down to your local, feed store or butcher and
Right.
just start straight away, just start small. Yeah.
Yeah, just try,
Yeah.
and not only with raw food or anything, it's just everything
Hmm.
anything, just try. Because a
Hmm.
lot of people are scared to make mistakes, but man, that's how we learn.
Hmm.
Like I I take advice from people, but most of it goes in one ear and out the other. I
Hmm.
like to learn by doing, right?
Hmm.
If I want to see what's going to happen when I feed my dog this coconut oil, right?
Hmm.
After his training or whatever, like it doesn't. It just try something, see what happens.
Hmm.
The dog's not going to die. Let's experimenting is how you're going to progress. Try different things
Hmm.
and don't take my word for it.
Hmm.
Experience it yourself and make a decision.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that you, like I said, I mentioned earlier, you've got a bit of a blog post on your website about that. So I can link to that if that's cool. If anyone
Yeah,
wants
definitely.
anyone wants to see what you're exactly doing and how you sort of break it down, I can link to in the show notes for that. For no dramas, mate. Mm.
Oh, great. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I know that you've been traveling the world, and we're talking about your Italian heritage and good coffee, and I know COVID has thrown a few spanners in the works this past year, but before that, Italy, Poland. Tell us a little bit about your travels, man.
Yeah, man. So, honestly, when I started judging, it just kind of got crazy,
Hmm.
and I've been flying all over the place judging dogs, and it's been amazing.
Hmm.
But before that, I used to travel too. Like I went to spent 3 weeks in Australia down in
Yep.
Brisbane on the Sunshine Coast,
Yep.
and I was in my 20s, and I loved it. Went fishing in Mooloolaba, and it was the best. I went to Steve Irwin's zoo. It was right after he died,
Yep.
a few years, and just had a great experience down in Australia. I just wish it wasn't so far because that
Mm.
flight was brutal.
It is, man. It is very brutal.
Yeah, but yeah. So been a bunch of places. My one like Italy's like my second home in my mind. Like
Hmm.
it's just growing up, my grandmother being from Italy, and just the way I grew up. It's just that first flight that I took to Italy in 2015.
Hmm.
It was crazy. It was Thanksgiving Day, so there was no one on the airplane. I remember just sitting on the airplane, looking out the window at the Swiss Alps, like I'm in Italy, and I'm here because of the American Pit Bull Terrier, which is just the craziest thing.
Yep.
This passion of mine as a kid
Hmm.
I would have never thought 25 years later or whatever it is that they would literally bring me to Italy,
Yep.
to bring me to Poland, to
Mhm.
Spain, to Czech Republic, to Netherlands, just all these places, all because of my love for the breed, and
Mhm.
it's really humbling that people value my opinion so much that they want to
Mhm.
invest in my opinion to judge
Mhm.
their dogs. It's really cool.
Mm, for sure. It's unbelievable. Like you said, how things just start. How do things start? But
Yeah.
to be a, for me to be a, to really have these opportunities, you really, and you're passionate, and you've done the hard work. You're like, you're not just taking a stab in the dark. You know things inside out. Yeah. And for people out there to really be, I encourage everyone to really be invested in your dogs, and really understand, if it's the pit bull, the standard, what's expected, really be, an authority on what you have to, your dog and your type. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important, especially with the American Pit Bull Terrier, because they're so misunderstood,
Hmm.
and they're a dog that's not for everybody.
Hmm.
So they've gotten way too popular. Same thing's happening with the Belgian Malinois, and you know what I mean. It's just these dogs, and they're great dogs, but they're not for everybody.
Yep.
And as the popularity increases and people try to take advantage of the breed to make money, and
Hmm.
it's a bad thing. So if you are going to own one of these dogs, know who they are, know their origin, their history, know why they're the way that they are, and
Hmm.
be responsible enough to own one, because otherwise you're really doing the breed a disservice. And um, you know one thing I really don't like is people that make a business out of the dogs, in
Hmm.
terms of breeding and selling the dogs, man.
Yep.
It's just when something's motivated by money, that's kind of where it gets ruined.
Hmm.
And these dogs are so much more than that. And I have sold dogs in the past, and I stopped doing it years ago because it's just not worth it, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, unfortunately, it's a side of, dogs that, we don't like, obviously, to see, but there are, I ran into someone just only last week, and she was pretty happy to tell me that she just made $50,000, like, from a litter. I'm like, okay, of not pit bulls, but another breed. And that she did that for a full-time living, and another bitch was in pup, with another 10, I think she said. So she's
Yeah.
very, very happy to tell me that, yeah, the cash was flowing. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good for her, you know what I mean? But
uh,
it's not in the breed's best interest, you
I
know.
agree. Look, I agree, my
Um,
friend.
you're
um
making breeding decisions based on money, not based on,
yeah.
the purity of what's in the best interest of breeding the best,
Mhm.
highest quality dogs. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What I wanted to ask you as well, I've been loving the look of this dog trotter of yours. Can you tell
yeah,
us? Yeah, I can. It's one sexy beast, mate.
Bob Loomis is my friend. He's the owner of Dog Trotter, and
Mhm.
I mean, he makes the best slat mill. I mean, not only the best, he's pretty much the only legitimate, at least in the United States,
Mhm.
business. Who's running an actual literal,
Mhm.
professional business. Most guys are just building them out of their garage, which is fine, but
Mhm.
they don't have the craftsmanship or the attention to detail that the dog trotters have. And I
Mhm.
mean, just like anything else, they're just a tool,
Mhm.
right? They're a
Mhm.
tool that they're convenient. They help.
Yep.
They're very convenient when the weather's bad, or maybe you're hungover a little bit and you don't really want to go do road work. Um, but and for someone like me who's got multiple dogs, it saves me a lot of time because
Mhm.
and as you get older and stuff like that. But yeah, they're amazing pieces of equipment. They're an
Mhm.
investment.
Yep.
They're expensive,
Mhm.
but they hold their value, and I think you know they're they're built to last. Like
Mm.
they don't break down, that kind of thing. You spend the money once, and if you're serious about the dogs, I think it's a good thing to have.
Yeah. I remember, so a friend of mine, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago or 8 years ago, bought a dog trotter, imported it from Australia. And, it's awesome. It was fully custom for him, but like I said, a little bit on the higher side. But right here and now in Australia, most people are jumping on, other brands from Europe and things like that. I've just
Yeah.
ordered, I've ordered a local, mill from a guy. Heard some
Mhm.
great things, so I'm hoping to have that in the next couple of weeks. But I
Nice.
tell you, I imported one from the Philippines. I don't know. You probably, I imported one for the Philippines 8 years ago, and I got shafted. It was a.
Dang.
I'm not going to name the name of the company, but
I know who it is. You're not the only one.
I know. At least I got mine, though. A lot of
Oh,
people.
good.
I got it, but it was. I don't think I had to make some modifications, and it was a piece of shit. So, uh,
Really?
yeah, and
Uh,
I was very disappointed in that, and only because of the cost. Like I was like, "Oh, this one's a fraction of the price. I might and get one there." And yeah, there was. It arrived at Brisbane Airport. I live in North Queensland, so it was another nearly $1,000 freight to get it from the airport to my house, which I didn't know that you know I had to do, etc. But anyway, it was a mess. um,
Geez, I'm sorry to hear that.
you live and learn. These
Yep.
experiences. Um,
Yep.
but definitely. Since I seen your canine athletes dog trotter, I'm just like, that is beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I've got four. Well, I've got two.
Hmm.
I've got two, and I've got two old school Robert Lem treadmills that I just love. I'm
Hmm.
so fond of those things.
Yeah.
They'll never leave me. I love those things. But
Yeah.
that's the good thing about Bob at Dog Trotter.
Hmm.
You can trust him. Like the
Hmm.
guy, he's been building these mills since the 80s. Like
Yeah.
he's not going anywhere. Like this is what he does.
Yeah.
So if you ever have any problems, you got someone you can call and
Yeah.
they're gonna take care of you. Where like Joe Schmo in his garage building a mill, man.
That's
I
right.
don't know, in 5 years, who knows where he's gonna be.
That's
But,
right. Never see him again.
right. You got it.
No, awesome. So I'm hoping I'm going to reach out to Bob. But I know that he's a personal guy as well. So I'd love to get him on to have a chat. On the podcast as well about those. But that's for another time. Um,
Yeah.
but mate, so I was going to, the creation of the brand, like I said, it just sort of flowed previously, but how did that sort of come about? Like you're doing some really awesome things now, and yeah, how did that sort of just accumulate and just bang,
Yeah, thanks, man.
Mhm.
I don't know. It was never a plan. Like, in 2010, I started a Facebook page called Canine Athletes,
Mhm.
just kind of like as a way to kind of give some information to other people, talk with like-minded people about, different concepts and nutrition and, uh, you know, veterinary stuff, just kind of a place just to kind of share knowledge.
Yep.
And I felt like it would keep me sharp too, because it
Mhm.
would, you know, I wasn't sure what was going to happen with it. It's just something that's just one day decided to start. And,
Mhm. Mhm.
people liked it, it just started kind of gaining traction. And
Yep.
I don't know, maybe 2014, something like that. My friend said, "Hey man, why don't you make some t-shirts so we can wear them at the next dog show?" Right. And I'm like, that sounds cool, but I don't have a logo. And I don't know how to, like, so I called the print shop and the guy's like, "You can make some shirts, but you can't make two. You got to make like 24." He's like, "If you make two shirts, they're going to be like $60 a piece." And I'm like, "Well, that's too much, but what am I going to do with 24 t-shirts?" You know?
Yep.
So, man, I just put them on Facebook. I'm like, "Does anybody want to buy a t-shirt? Like, and this is what's going to look like?"
Yep.
And dude, like everybody bought them like before I even had them. So I'm
Yep.
like, that's cool. So I've made some more,
Yep.
different colors. And man, it just kind of snowballed. Like I never in a million years dreamed that, I'd be the revenue that this little
Mhm.
company is making out of my house. It's like it's just craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's fun, like growing this little brand. Like branding is, to me, like the selling's cool, but the branding is the coolest. That's the fun part for me, is like
Mm-hmm.
building the brand.
Yeah.
Um, I literally haven't taken a penny of the profits from Canine Athletes. I
Yeah.
haven't taken out a penny. I just keep reinvesting them into
Yeah.
the brand.
Yep.
And it's fun to watch it grow. And I mean, man, I've got customers all over the world.
Yeah.
All over. I shipped an order to Oman the other day, like in the, like by Saudi Arabia, by Dubai. It's crazy to me
That's right.
that, there's even people with athletic working dogs over there that want to buy my collars. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing. I'm blessed to
Mm-hmm.
be able to do it, and to have such loyal customers and followers and
Mm-hmm.
people. We all, I'm the same as them. That's the cool part, is like,
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't me, I'd be buying from somebody,
Mm-hmm.
with a brand like mine, like,
Mm-hmm.
because we're all the same. We love dogs at the core, and that's what makes us,
Yep.
you know who we
Yeah.
are.
Oh, look, I agree, so, just on that, like I said, we won't keep you for too much longer, but, like I said, I've got a collar, I've got a t-shirt, I've got bits and pieces, and I've had them for a little while now. So I certainly love it. And so if people want
We
to,
do a giveaway, man. You want to do
yeah,
a giveaway on your
yeah,
page?
yeah,
Let's
if
do a
if
giveaway.
you, we can
Yeah, we'll
organize
give
that,
away
man.
a gift card.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
we'll do a gift card, and this way, if someone from
Mm,
Australia or somebody wins,
mm.
you know, they don't have to. We'll just do a gift card, and they can apply it to whatever they want.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. We will. Well, I'll I'll post up. If you're listening to this, keep an eye out in the show notes, and we'll hook up, and we'll come up with something, and we'll give something. Yeah, give a gift card away. I
Yeah,
appreciate that, man.
that'd be cool. Yep.
Thank you. So, look, if anyone wants to, chat to you a little bit more, they've liked what they've heard today, where they track you down, mate?
They can Instagram DMs are
Mm,
pretty popular.
yep.
My Facebook page. They can email in too. You can find. You can email me through the website.
Mm-hmm,
We are canineathletes.com.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere, social media wise. So that's usually the easiest way to catch me. And
Yep.
I've always got my phone on me, and I'm pretty much always connected. So
Yeah, awesome. So,
try to get back to everybody.
yeah, for sure. Actually, I haven't asked you a question. Actually, we're talking about weights and lifting before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was, I think you might have listened to Jay Jack's podcast, and he's like,
Yeah,
dude, you haven't asked how many people, what they deadlift,
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so the question I will put to you, your maximum deadlift doesn't have to be today, if you're not deadlifting today, but what is it? Well, let's throw it out there.
Man, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah.
I used to lift weights quite a bit back in the day when I was younger, but
Mhm.
now I'm old. All I do is walk dogs. But I mean, deadlifting was never my strong point, man. My back's not that strong.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'd probably say not much more than 135, probably. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I never really went too heavy with deadlifting.
Yeah, yeah, no, awesome. So like I said, thank you very much for jumping on. Like, there's probably a lot more stuff that we could cover today, but I like to just keep 30 to 40 odd minutes. The evolution of the pit bull, the shows. I really appreciate you coming on and giving us a bit of an insight to yourself, but also the pit bulls and a bit of your prep and behind the scenes stuff. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity, man, and keep doing what you're doing. I love the show, and it's good for the dogs, and people are getting a lot of value from these from the podcast. And if there's anything I can ever help you with, man, reach out. If you need help contacting new guests or
Yep.
spreading the word about the podcast and that kind of thing, reach out, man. Be glad to help.
For sure, will do. Thank you very much. So if you've listened to us today, guys, and you feel like you got some value, please like, share, subscribe. Keep an eye out for that giveaway. So today, going to sign off. Thank you very much.